Yep, there's Rich. Right on, Rich. Look
What's
at
up,
this
man?
guy. Mr. Heavy Enduro.
What's going on, brother?
Where are you at right now?
Sitting on top of a mountain overlooking the city of Reno.
Really?
Yeah. See if we can get you a shot of this.
Wow, look at that. Get a little better here on my side.
So, caught me trailside, man. I had day off, had to get out and ride a little bit.
That's awesome. Okay, so guys, just like I said, I'm going to try something a little bit different for everyone that's tuning in right now. I went sideways on this feed. Hopefully you guys like it. The other way, straight up and down, I know a lot of people just hold their phone like that, but I had a lot of the comments and everything, you know, basically covering up who I was talking to. So trying to do a little different on this one here. Let me see if I can, let's see what we got here. Yeah. Okay. So, again, I'm here with Mr. Heavy Enduro. What are you riding, Rich?
I'm on the 1190 today, Adventure R 2015.
Sweet.
Flagship for Heavy Enduro.
Yeah. And this isn't the only bike that you have in your garage, right?
No, I got the Husaberg 450 FX.
Nice, nice.
So that is plated. We have it. I got it plated.
You got it plated as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So today, you know, we have this ride that's coming up. It's the Bishop dual sport ride that's in Bishop, California. It's coming quick up on us, the October 12th through the 14th. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday ride. And basically, I wanted to sit down with someone and talk to you about the ride. And I know that me and you rode together on Saturday, which was a blast, and we're going to get into that. But, you know, tell us about, you know, this ride when you were coming into it. Give us some details prior to the ride when it started and you getting there, because I know you got like a last-minute phone call from Luke. So I'll back up too and say at this ride, it was myself, Doug, and Luke that were all riding, and then Rich came in on Saturday and met us. It was like Friday night that you met us, and then we rode on Saturday. But I know it was like a last-minute ordeal for you to get there and come ride with us, right?
Yeah, so I was in Utah at a rally, 3-day rally out there. It was pretty much the first, that rally was kind of the shakedown run for the 1190 after we'd rebuilt it and got it set up for the enduro stuff. Wound up while I was out there. I had it off, tore off my pegs from IMS. I had the IMS Adventure 2s on there, awesome pegs. When I went down, the frame of the bike actually failed and ripped the pegs off on one side and broke my clean speed brake pedal as well. So we got that semi-fixed on trailside, finished out 2 days of riding that weekend before, drove back to Reno, got on the phone with Luke and IMS, got it set up. IMS, I don't know how they pulled it off, but they machined a set of their Enduro core pegs just for the 1190 and had it, they hand delivered them to me at the event that I met you guys at.
That's right, yeah.
And we put those pegs on before we went out the next day. And then Clean Speed, same thing. I got a hold of Clean Speed, told him I'd snapped the brake pedal. Again, he machined it in just a couple of days and had it to me back here in Reno, so I could get that put on before I came down to you guys. I think I had 2 days of work before I was back on the road, driving a whole day, trying to get down to you guys so that we could ride on Saturday.
Right. And so when you got there, I know we worked on the bike a little bit, but it wasn't too much. And then we turned around and just kind of put together a game plan for Saturday morning. Me, Luke, and Doug had already went off, and we did a couple of the harder routes that they offer. And for people that don't know about Bishop, it's pretty cool because you sign up and it's a 3-day event and you show up there, and it's held at it's held by the Ventura County MC Motorcycle Club, and it's held at the Tri-County Fairgrounds in Bishop. And you get there, and there's just tons of people all over the place hanging out. There's vendors there. IMS was there, and Mad Jack Racing was there, and there was a couple other people that I remember that was sitting there with their booth set up and everything. But you get there, you meet everyone, and then you basically go in to this, you know, it was like a cafeteria or whatever they had, and on the walls you have like all these different maps, and you get to choose where you want to go and what routes, whether it's, you know, less difficult or more difficult. And we had went on some good ones for Friday, and then when, you know, Rich came in, Rich was like all gung-ho, wanted to go and do some good stuff, and I think it was Luke that basically came in and said, hey, let's go and do woodcutter. I think what did we do in the morning? I can't remember.
Well, we rode the west side of Bishop.
That's right.
On this, I guess that would still be the Sierra side.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of deep sand, just monster vistas for days. It's some of the best scenery I've ever seen.
Right.
2-track, not. I don't think we hit single track, but just a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Where I got my Luke nickname of Big Turtle because I went ass over tea kettle off the side of the hill. I lost my phone.
Yep.
Yeah, I lost my phone, and that's where I broke the throttle tube on the 1190.
Right.
Yeah, that was a great, awesome section. The hill climbs and the sand, just a ton of really tough terrain. But luckily, I don't ever know where I'm going when I ride with you guys, and you guys are the best trail babysitters I've ever had. So I just agree to whatever, and you guys get me through it one way or another.
Right. No, I mean, you know, it was great to have you out there, and you know, one of the biggest things, I was trying to get in on another phone so I can see some of these comments and stuff, and unfortunately I'm not logging in on this other phone. So I'm going to come back and hit some of these comments and give some shout outs and answer some questions if they do pop up. So forgive me if I'm not seeing you guys. I tried logging in on this other phone, but it ain't working. So anyways, so yeah, like you showed up and like the biggest thing that you wanted to accomplish was taking an 1190 and doing, you know, these hard routes on something so big, which tell me about this whole like setup of this bike to accomplish what we were trying to accomplish with taking this big bike out there. What do you have done to it?
Oh man, where to begin?
What don't you have done? Yeah.
So we've done Rottweiler everything, intake, every dongle that they make, cut out the cat, running an aero exhaust. Rob over at Moto Lab Suspension completely redid the entire suspension to accommodate me plus all my gear, which is roughly 270 pounds plus the bike, to be able to rip across the desert and hit these hard rocky sections that you guys dragged me through. What else we have? We got flex bars from Fast, Cyclops lights, Seat Concept seat. I'm still running the original TourTech cage that I got for this thing. I like this cage because it's really pliable. I can bend it back fairly easy every time I pull it off. I got Woody's wheels on here. We're not running Moose on this bike. I do have them on the 450, but the Moose just won't hold up in this bike. Nitro Moose, fingers crossed, you guys are going to knock one out for me soon enough for the big bikes. So we're running tube saddles with heavy-duty tubes on Golden tires, IMS pegs, Black Dog CycleWorks skid plate, Rumbuck's rear crash cages, Scott stabilizer. I don't know. I know there's more.
Tons of it.
So yeah, it's 100% built from the ground up for putting it through the hard stuff, and for the most part, she's holding up pretty well.
Cool.
We tend to break something every time we go out, especially when I'm riding with you and the Wolf guys. But she's holding up well. When I'm riding with
All right, so I just got one of my phones to kick in so I can see some of these comments. So I'm pretty stoked on that. So cool. So this bike's set up, and you told us that you wanted to accomplish going on these more treacherous, thinner, single track, trails. Why are you trying to do that? Tell us like what your goal is with this.
It's, man, these are super capable bikes, and I've owned so many different types of motorcycles, and this 1190 really is the be all end all. I can do just about anything on this bike. I mean, riding with you guys, obviously, I can't keep up, on the high speed stuff, but I can still make my way through it. But then, for example, when we were going to lunch, we hopped on the freeway, and you guys were riding dirt bikes on the freeway, and I was chilling with my feet up on cruise control.
Right.
And that's, especially living in the Reno area, you got to tie a lot of track together, hitting pavement and stuff. Especially some of the bigger rides I do, we'll do 200, 300-mile days, just to hit desert, rock, single track, woods, mountains. I mean, we hit it all in one day, do the whole Great Basin Valley. And you got to tie a little bit of that together with pavement.
Right.
So this bike is awesome. Plus, just seeing the look on people's face, as you ride by them through a whoop section, ripping through the desert on a big bike, that's a hoot. It's a good time.
So to give a little bit better perspective also to this is that you're a taller dude, which makes a big difference on a big bike like that, because I got short legs. I'm not that tall, and I couldn't ride a big bike like that because I just can't touch the ground and keep myself balanced on it. But you're a pretty tall dude, and you're able to manhandle the bike around, which I see you do that every time we go out riding.
Well, mostly it's just holding on and hoping for the best. I don't know if it's manhandling, but having some long legs helps. I actually had to put the tall seat concept seat on just so I'm able to grip the bike with my knees when I'm standing up, and also raise the handlebars, and I push them forward pretty far. Because you see me ride, I'm super aggressive over the front of the bike.
Yeah. Typically, you don't see guys standing up, and if you want to say going over stuff with their both feet on the pegs and actually bulldozing it. I mean, really, there's some of the videos that I posted with you riding, and definitely you're going through the rocks like we're going through, and it's not phasing you as much. Obviously, that bike's got less suspension, but it's still, it's a big bike.
Well, the great thing about the big bike is because it's so heavy, it tends to pull you through stuff. You hit those baby heads, and on a little bike, you'll get a big jar in the handlebars, or it'll kick you sideways. With the big bike, it just plows straight through. So the bike really makes me look like I'm doing a better job than I actually am.
Well, I can tell you by experience riding behind you, when you get on the gas, it's not like being behind like a 501 or a 500 EXC. Like when that thing gets on the gas, it throws good size, like softball size rocks, and it hurts. And I don't like riding behind you.
That's the only thing I can do to pay you back for all the pain and suffering you guys put me through.
Right. You asked for it, so don't forget that.
I did, absolutely. When I showed up and I went to the sound test for the Bishop ride, the guys told me, they're like, yeah, there's a couple tracks in there for the big adventure bikes, but there's no way you'll be able to do any of the hard routes.
Yeah.
So it was a pleasure to put that myth to bed.
Right. So I got someone asking a question here that I'm going to go ahead and throw in. They're asking, they want to ride some good single track. Where's a good forum to look? I got to probably give you a suggestion of, like, if you're just going on a forum, like a web forum, go check out Thumper Talk. They've got different areas within, if you're in California, Utah, or Colorado, wherever you're at, you can go and look in that certain area and connect with some other riders and find some other riding areas to ride and people to ride with. If you're on Facebook, one that you find a lot of us hanging out on is going to be the SoCal Dual Sport Riders page. It's a group page. I hang out mostly on there. There's some other ones that I belong to as well, but that one's usually got a great amount of conversation going on, and you can connect with a lot of different guys in the SoCal area. And there's also guys in there that are from other areas as well. So it's you can find people to connect with. So that's, how do you find places to ride? There you go. That, or you go and, check out our buddies, which is WLF Enduro. You can check them out they have an Instagram and they have a Facebook page, but they also have a website as well. And they put together some events. Or you can just go and check on District 37 and some of the other AMA pages, and they also list different dual sport rides that are available in your area as well too. So just ideas if you guys are looking to do the stuff that I like to do and some of my buddies as well like to do. So let's get back to this ride. So Saturday morning we started off and we took off and you talked about how you had a couple of problems, and then we ended up for the most part the day part of the ride, other than you going off the side on that one little small single track section and losing your phone and everything, pretty much the ride was really awesome and beautiful. There was really no problems, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, no real issues. We I think I kind of soaked Luke going through that river crossing that we did because he was in a bad spot for a photo. I blame him. He's the trail photo guy. That's his fault.
But that was great photos.
That was a good shot. You guys were awesome. Luke almost got me 86th out of California because he told me to go sit on top of a hill so he could take a picture, but it was off trail. And then the guys that were putting on the ride rode by and started yelling at us.
Yep.
So once again, Luke gets me in trouble. So totally my fault. I should have been staying on the trail. We should have been following the rules. But it was funny. The guy actually came when we were at dinner. He came over and apologized, and we talked for a little while. Solid guy. What else? Yeah, that one single track. When I went off, not a bad off. It was just long. Luckily, there was a bunch of sagebrush to catch me in the bike. Just getting the bike up the hill after that was a struggle.
It was real soft.
Problem. Yeah,
it was real soft and rocky.
And then the hill climb that came right after that, I was really worried about it when we were stopped, and I was waiting because you guys went back to get my phone for me. And I was trying to catch my breath, and I was staring at that hill climb, and I was just shaking my head like, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to go up that. And that turned out to be like the easiest thing we did all day.
Yeah, we got footage of you going up that, and it was like you didn't have a problem at all. It looked more intimidating than it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Some really good lines, and I think I was either right behind either you or Doug, so I was able to pretty much stay on the same line that you guys took, and it was solid. The downhill right after that, though, remember that crazy steep? It was like a foot deep of sand. It was like riding in fresh snow powder. I was on the brakes the entire time, and I just couldn't slow down. The bike just drug me down that hill.
And that's probably one of the cool things about the Bishop area and those tracks that we were riding on is that it's very diverse. On we'll go on flat 2-track, and it seems like it's going to be kind of, if you want to say for lack of better words, just kind of weak and lame. But then next you're traveling in, getting into more rocky terrain, and then the next you're on single track and you're in bush, and then all of a sudden you're trying to climb some rocks and everything. I mean, it's very, very back and forth and diverse, and fun, if you want to say. It's not boring at all.
No, not at all. It was right before we hit that single track, we took the that hard loop and went out to that little lake in that valley, and then we came out in the riverbed. That was just all those monster boulders coming out of there. I had a off there too. Got high centered on a rock, but we passed 3 dudes on 450s going through there. And I got the look as I passed them.
What's wrong with this guy? Why is this guy out here on 1190? Right. But you know what though? It all depends on what kind of rider you want to be. But there's some guys that are just laid back and chill, and they don't want to go down or lean get the bike on the ground, tilt it over, whatever, and drop it. And then there's other guys that are just pushing it because they want to push their own physical limits and everything. And whatever kind of rider you are, that's great. Sometimes, I have bad days and sometimes I have great runs and it's just awesome. But, I just kind of want to put that out there. We all love the ride. And, I got people asking in the comments, how do we ride? How do we ride with you guys? One guy's asking, super stoked. 55's asking, how do I ride with the HE crew? If you're in the Reno area,
hit me up on Instagram.
Hit up, heavy enduro is more of the big 1190 bike side of things, but also your other is kilometer 9, right? So either one those accounts, you guys can hit up this guy right here and go ride in the Reno area, which, Rich has been asking me to go out there, and I really want to go. I've rode out there a few times years back, but I've not taken you up on that offer, and I will one of these days here very soon. I'll come up there.
Yeah, we'll get you out here. We'll get everybody up here. You can't. Reno's such a great place. It's just like Bishop. I mean, we've got the Sierras to the east or to the west, and we've got desert to the east, and you can ride all day and never see another person. And in a 3-day weekend of guys coming out to ride, we can't touch a fraction of the trails that I know. But yeah, if anybody in the Reno area, if you want to travel, come up for a ride, just hit me up, and we'll get something. We'll get something situated.
Right on.
And skill set does not matter. We're just out to ride. We don't have to go fast, and we don't have to do hard stuff. If you just want to go look at pretty things, we got cool vistas out here too.
Sweet. So we come back from our day ride, and it's still kind of early. I want to say it was like only 1, 2 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken, and we went and had like a late lunch.
Yeah, we had a late lunch. We got lost. Well, I don't know if we got lost. We just
it took us a while to get back.
Yeah, a lot longer than I expected. I was starving. I was turning into a little girl. I was done, man. I just needed to sit down and drink some water and get some food in me. But that's on the way back when we were on 395 headed back up to Bishop. I realized my throttle tube was broken. So we got to the parking lot. We went through my tool bag, your tool bag, just trying to find something. I tried to wire it. Couldn't get it done. Had lunch, went back to the hotel. I stripped down the gear and just started working on the bike. You guys went to your room, and I think all of us thought that I was done for the day.
You were done for the day. There's no thought. You were done for the day. You're like, man, my throttle's broken. I'm not going anywhere. And we had some pressure. We had some pressure on you, man. And I must say, on a positive note, that's great because I love riding with great groups of guys. And when it comes down to it, sometimes Rich just wasn't feeling it, and Luke handed it to him and was like, dude, you're going riding. We're taking you out. You didn't come out here for no reason.
Yeah, so got the throttle tube fixed, put a bunch of super glue. I don't even know how I think it's the same tube that's on there right now. I don't know how it's still together. But I wired it up. I pulled the work with me handguard off. Pulled the handguard off.
Yeah.
Threw some wire into the plastic. Just put a ton of super glue on there. Jammed the handguard back on. Went and changed my boots and went around and you
didn't know if it was going to work or not. You just rode it in the parking lot and it worked. So we're like, we're going.
Yeah, we're going. And then all hell broke loose after that. We're
going to get into some good stuff right here because the late part of the day, that's when all hell broke loose, and we'll have to get to where we almost lost you. So, at that point, what was your thoughts at that point before we went out for round number 2, for the same day, on Saturday, round number 2, what was your thoughts? We had already put in, 90, I think we had put in like 95 miles or something like that?
Yeah, I was pretty gassed, man. I honestly, changing my socks, changing my boots, putting on a fresh jersey, just that kind of reset me. You and Luke, I couldn't ask for a better 2 guys to be riding with, particularly in that situation. Like, you guys have ridden with me enough times. I trust you to know what I'm capable of doing. So you guys said we're going to the top of that mountain and then we're going to come back down. And I said, cool, let's do it. Sucks for you if I turn it into a whiny little bitch, though.
Well, the thing is that you came out there to do whatever was the hardest that there was there. And when me and Luke went out on Friday with Doug, it was 3 of us. We went and did, there was a couple of tracks. You know what? The only one I remember was Woodcutter was the name of one of them. I can't remember what the other one was. I think Luke had said something about Coyote. I saw him, make a comment in there. But we went out specifically because the goal was to prove everyone wrong that 1190 couldn't go through woodcutter. Because everyone talked about woodcutter. There's no way you're going to take that 1190 through woodcutter. And I think that was pretty much why we pushed you, because we're like, dude, you're this close, and we'll carry you back if we need to, and leave the bike there. So we go back out for round 2, and we're just trying to just relax and not be too crazy, because we knew what we were going to be in for. And everything was going good. We passed a few groups of guys that were just hanging out. I remember there was one group that one of the guys was just not having a good day, and they were going to turn around and go back, or they were splitting up. I remember we came across them. I don't remember what their names were, but where it got really cool was when we came up to woodcutter, where we were already in it, or almost close to where it was all like completely the whole rock hillside and single track. And there was like 3 dudes or 4 dudes that right after you had kind of slid off the side of the one single track that was before the hard stuff, they came up and they're like, "What are you guys doing out here?" And you're like, "I'm going to take my bike through there." And they're like, "You guys are crazy."
Yeah.
And
well, we almost didn't, because I got the video that you posted yesterday of you riding on the single track. That was, I want to say that was woodcutter or coyote. Do you remember that Do you remember the V tree that you went through?
Yes.
I got stuck in that. The 1190 got wedged, and you guys were way down the trail. My radio wasn't working, nothing. So I had to pull the bike out and go under. I had to drop underneath that thing and then pull the bike back up. Like every time I went around a corner, I was just like, what the hell are these guys doing to me? I was gassed, man. I was tired. And then we dropped down, because before the open cliff face, we had to go down the 3 waterfalls.
Mm-hmm. And then there was that other area where Luke's got those killer pictures of you jumping off and sailing out off of one of the waterfalls. I mean, it wasn't really a steep waterfall, but it was a nice little hump, hump that came up over, and just you launched it on your bike, which was killer.
Yeah. And the only thing I got was, Luke, hey, hit this thing fast. You got plenty of runoff. He lied. Right. No runoff. Straight into a wall. No big deal. That guy's all he wants is a picture of me right before I die. I feel like that's.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want you to die. I can tell you that much.
100% he doesn't.
Right. We got someone that brought up Vader, which is Vader. Who's Vader?
Vader's my partner. He's my my working pup.
Nice.
He's at home chilling on the couch right now.
Nice. Yeah, someone commented about him, so that's good. So let's get to the good stuff, man. So we go up to, we pass these one guys that were just hanging out, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And you're like, "And we're going to take this 1190 through this last section of woodcutter," let's say it was. And those guys stopped, and we were like, "Hey, man, we're already getting cut off. I can't believe we've been on already." So I think maybe we might have to maybe redo this here. I'll let this thing run out, and then we'll come back on live, because we've already been on for an hour, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I talk too much. I apologize.
It's telling me an hour and 20 minutes. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll kill this one, and then just give us a couple minutes right back. We'll be right back here, and we'll talk some more about this, because Bishop's is a killer place, and we definitely need to get through this one with heavy enduro here. So bear with us here for a second. All right, there you go, man. Cool. We're back. Sorry about that, guys. This is a little bit longer one, but I think it's going to be well worth it. Some good stuff about this ride. So these guys, I can't remember where we're at, but I was talking about how these guys, they literally stopped, and we're like, no, go ahead, because we're going to take a while to go through there. And they're like, no, we're not going. We're going to sit right here, and we're going to watch this guy, and if you guys need help, we'll help you. And we're like, okay, cool. You guys are cool. And if you guys are listening, I don't know if you guys follow us, either one of us. I can't remember you guys' names, but Dude, great guys. I was totally appreciative that, you know, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And honestly, if we had a problem on this trail, it was so tight that they weren't going to get through. So we were holding them up no matter what. No matter how long it took us to get through there was no going around us. That's how bad this trail was. There was nowhere to go. So those guys, great guys, man. Totally. If they're out there listening, if anyone knows who they are.
I think they're off of the SoCal Dual Sport Riders Forum. I think they reached out on Facebook. So, yeah, awesome, guys. We really appreciate you hanging out for that.
Right. So I'm on to you to take over. I just wanted to kind of set the mood on like where this was going. So you take over after those guys stopped and were like, okay, no pressure, guy, but we're going to watch you go through this. Tell us what happened.
I think that was the whole thing, right? Like, I was like, get past me. I don't want any pressure. Like, I want to be able to take my time. And then I got you and Luke behind me going, sun's setting, man. We got to get out of here. And I mean, I don't know how far the drop was on open exposure completely. The track was maybe as wide as the helmet. The 1190 was too wide for sure. I was dragging the side of the tank, and the crash cage was rubbing up against rocks and the wall multiple times. We did that initial. So I guess it would be the easy part of Woodcutter. They kind of dropped down into that ravine, and that's where I had my first off. I lost the ass end of the bike off the side.
Yeah.
You guys helped me back up. You and Luke went down in front of me, and then I started to go down. I lost the ass end again, and then the whole bike started to go over the edge, and that's what I jumped off. But I jumped off on the wrong side and went down the hill.
Off the hill.
But I did that so that I could push the bike back into the side of the hill. I didn't want the bike to go tipping over, so I managed to keep the bike on the uphill side, which worked out because then I just rode down into the ravine. We got to the bottom. You and Luke, I think, kind of asked me if I wanted to reassess and keep going, and I felt fine. Like, it was a little tight, but I felt like we could make it. I think at that point those guys passed us. We waved them on. And then you put me. I was first. Luke second, and you were in third. We started the climb up to the hard part, and I remember specifically you telling me you're going to hit a peak of rocks. You gotta stay to the left. As much as you can in a trail this wide. And I didn't have the clearance on the big bike, and I wound up getting high centered. You and Luke stopped, and I was working the bike. And I don't know what I did, but I wound up tipping, and the bike started to go. And it had to be at least 200-300 feet. Is that an over exaggeration?
It would have been a bad day. I mean, literally, it scared the shit out of me. I mean, I was really worried that, and I think it scared Luke even. I mean, I was yelling at Luke, and some of you guys have already seen the little small clip that I've posted that was in the post that I made earlier. After him busting through that log, there was a second clip, and that was us on Woodcutter, where I'll put it in better perspective. So, like, there was a tree stump on a left-hand corner, and it was real narrow, and there was rocks, and basically the problem is with that 1190 on a bike like mine, we just came up over it, and we had enough ground clearance to kind of just hop over it and go sideways to the left and get around it. Well, because that bike, that 1190, is so wide, and the bottom base of it has got just a real flat surface area and it hangs out, that didn't work for him at all. And what was the only reason why you didn't fall off the side of that hill? Let's put it out there.
I reached out and grabbed a sagebrush. I mean, it couldn't have been bigger than this.
I mean, it was that bad, and you're so lucky that you didn't go over.
Yeah.
That bike would have been totaled.
Yeah,
and you would have
absolutely.
been hurt bad.
Yeah. Honestly, man,
So sorry, guys. I think maybe he might have lost signal. He's out on the outskirts over there in Reno. Did it drop on your side?
You got me, Nick?
Yeah. Did it drop on your side?
Yeah, it just booted me. It said, thanks for joining live.
Oh, man. All right. So we're back. Thanks, guys. Dude, it was so awesome that you guys jumped back on the second time. Now we're back on our third time. So anyways, you know, Rich made it through. After that, it was still a nice little trek to get back. And so, I mean, tell us what you thought about that whole ordeal. Like, was that something that you shouldn't have been doing, or did you really enjoy it? Like, where are you with that whole situation?
Oh, no, it was awesome. And Luke and I were talking about it as we were coming down the waterfalls, because he was asking me if I thought we could get the big bike up the waterfalls.
Right.
And I would absolutely ride that trail again, especially on the big bike. I would just like to do it fresh, like first thing in the morning. Our game plan, if I recall, was we wanted to hit Woodcutter after the fact, because we knew everybody was going to hit Woodcutter first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So we wanted to hit it on the second half of the day,
Right.
which definitely worked out because there was no traffic. It was a lot cooler, temperature-wise. Plus, we had the sunset. I mean, the sun was setting the entire time we were on the face of that cliff right behind the Sierras. It was an amazing. The whole experience was awesome. Yeah, I would do it on the big bike again in a heartbeat. It was sketchy. It was scary. It definitely so much potential for things to go wrong. And I would never do it by myself. I mean, that's a minimum 3-man job, if not more.
Yeah.
And we had talked about it too. In worst case scenario, like, let the bike go, and we'll deal with getting it out of there at a later time. Just trying to stay safe.
Right.
And
we did. By the time we got out of there and we started making our way back to town, I mean, we made it into town after nightfall. I mean, it was dark already when we were pulling into town.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we almost missed the dinner, right? We were the last ones to get back.
Yeah.
But we after we got out of Woodcutter, we made really good time cruising down that mountain. And just those trails alone were great. It was a lot like the local stuff that I ride here. A little bit of single track, 2-track, desert, shale, couple of rocks here and there, trying to keep up with you and Luke. Trying to wrap my head around what I just done.
I mean,
it was.
What was the first question when we got back was, so why are you guys back so late? What did you guys do? And then we told them, and they're like, no way you guys would do that. And
the people sitting at our table definitely did not believe us until Luke started showing pictures.
Yeah. I mean, put it in perspective, you know, myself and Luke going through it, I'm not going to over talk it. I mean, yeah, we could go through it. I'm not, because we're a great rider or anything like that. We're just standard riders. We ride all the time. But the point is, you know, on a bike like mine, where it's a lot skinnier and taller, it's just achievable with less effort. But changing that over to a bike like that 1190 changes a whole scale of, like, just how hard the whole ordeal is. So, in all honesty, you're a badass for doing that, man. I got to give it to you. I was happy for you, and I was happy to be a part of it, being there and seeing it for myself, because if someone would have told me, I would have never believed it either, and pretty much no one believed it until they started seeing the pictures and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's just pretty stupid, really, but it's a great accomplishment. So, what do you,
it's cool to show what these bikes are actually capable of, and there's no way that I could have done that ride without you guys. That was 100% a team effort, both, you know, mentally, physically, and just having you guys guide me and stuff. That's honestly, man, the bike does the majority of the work. I just got to try to point it in the right direction. Sorry, I got some people pulling up next to me over here.
Trying to find out what's going on, huh?
Probably. This is probably a confusing situation to walk up on.
They're like, hey, man, are you okay?
I'll just sit here talking to myself.
Yeah, right. I'm just writing a diary right now, guys. Don't interrupt me.
Man, Bishop, I'm really bummed that I'm not gonna be able to make it this year. I I'm still recovering from the last time I rode with Luke. So I'm just trying to get back into bike shape. And I just came off of a big trip down south anyways, so got to get back to work and do the work stuff. Not going to be able to get out there.
I'm going to miss you at the ride. I really wanted you to come back up or come back down because you're up in Reno. I wanted you to come back down to it, but unfortunately, yeah, man, I understand, and we're definitely going to have to work something out on another ride otherwise, because obviously this Bishop one's only once a year. But, you know, give me your I just want to kind of like give the props to the Bishop, you know, the people that put on the Bishop ride. You know, overall, what did you think about the ride? I know you just did it for a day, but, you know, what did you think about the trail system that they put together? And then what did you think about their dinner and just the whole event in itself, just the people and the aura and everything? How did you feel about it?
Well, I mean, luckily, man, they're moto people, and specifically they're dual sport enduro guys, and that you couldn't ask for a better community to spend some time with.
Right.
Where they put the event on, they had plenty of camping for everybody, hotels right across the street. Registration was a breeze.
Right.
They, you know, they had it down to a science, and everybody there was volunteer, which is insane.
Right.
And then as far as their trails and their mapping system, luckily, again, I ride with you and Luke, and you guys are GPS gurus, because I can't figure out how to work a phone, let alone a GPS. You know, every time I ride with you, you see me pull out a paper map. I'm a map guy. And
I'm like, what's this guy with the paper for? We got it all on our phone. Right.
But it was awesome. The raffle was insane. I think somebody won a little like CB50, right?
Yeah, I forgot what kind of bike it was, but someone won a bike. And then there's a bunch of people that donated like different parts, different services, I mean, gift certificates, all kinds of stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, I walked out of there with like 3 shirts and a free graphics kit.
Right. Oh, that's right. You did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was a solid event for sure. And I really wish that I could go back this year. All the money goes to a great cause to allow us to ride in that area. And you couldn't ask for a better chunk of land to rip around on 2 wheels.
Right.
You know?
And the other thing too, to I think that's something to note to some guys that are possibly thinking about going to this ride. Well, last time I checked, that I signed up on the other night, I want to say there was up to 190 entries, and that was 2 nights ago, or last night, I can't remember, but 190 entries already. That's not even to say how many is going to be still, you know, signing up. But here's the other cool thing, like if you've never been to an event like this, like when you pull out of the event center and you're with your group of riders, they funnel you through this gate, and basically they've got a bunch of guys standing at the gate, and you also get a sticker that goes on your bike that has your rider number on it. So the safety-wise, when you sign up, you get a number, you get a sticker, you put it on your bike, and when you're leaving the event center, one of those guys that are at the end of the gate will write down who you're with, what numbers are all together, and then they ask you what trail you're going on. And so basically, if you don't come back and you don't check back in, there's sweep riders and there's people that are designated to go back out and look for people. So, you know, if you're a guy that wants to go tack in some miles on don't have a big crew to, you know, ride with, or you know, I mean, you and another buddy, or, you know, want to go out, these kind of events, to me, this is how I started. I mean, I know if some guys, you know, I've had people hit me up and say, hey, I want to go riding with you and everything, but honestly, like, yeah, I want to ride with a lot of people, but, you know, just to keep it like as easy as it is, this is how I started riding with a bunch of different people myself. You go out and you go start meeting people, and then you find, you know, others to ride with, whether they're 3 hours away or 2 hours away, or like Rich. I mean, Rich is from you to me, I'm Bakersfield, and you're in Reno. What are we, 7 hours away?
Yeah, it's like an 8-hour shot to get to you.
And that's how we met, you know, which just something to say, you know, to a lot of people that are wondering. I know a lot of people have questions and want to, you know, be a part of all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, Rich is in the Reno area. You guys can hit him up. Heavy Enduro is one of his accounts on Instagram, and then there's also Kilometer 9. He's got 2 accounts. He's a badass like that. I've only got 1 account, but no, I mean, it was great to have you out there. I'm sad that you're not coming this year, but yeah, man, soon enough we're going to have to ride again. What's your plans? What's another big event that you're thinking about doing?
We're looking right now at the Adventure Rally, Cycle World's Adventure Rally down in Julian, California. I'm going to try to make it down to that in November. See how the leg's feeling. Like I said, still trying to get back into riding shape. Leg's still a little stiff after rides. I'll probably do about an hour tonight. Go stretch my legs a little bit. See how we feel. Big thing is just getting on the bike and making sure I'm feeling good enough to do another event. After that, man, I don't know. You know me, I'm usually open for a last minute thing.
Yeah. No, we're definitely gonna have to put something together on our side, but yeah, no, I want to see what you got going on this rally too as well. That'd be great to follow.
Yeah, it'll be the second one. This will be number 2 if we make it down there.
Cool.
And it'd be good. Be a little bit of competition, and see how it goes.
Cool. I want to give a quick shout out. I just saw my buddy John from UTV guy just joined in and gave a wave. And we got a bunch of other people. Mike from Canada that I had him last weekend. I had him on live. We talked about a bunch of stuff going down in Baja and everything. I got Jacob here in Bakersfield. He just logged in. But I want to thank everyone. You know, we had a couple problems, and I think this is our third live feed for this evening. I don't know what happened, but, you know, it's great to have Rich on here. I want to go through a couple of things and basically do some quick, if you want to say, just some questions to just put, you know, give some content here. What are my question to you is, who are your most favorite, let's say, 3 accounts that you like to follow for their content that they're putting out on Instagram? I want to know.
Three's not enough, my friend.
I know what one of them is going to be. I know this already. That's why I kind of stuttered and laughed over it, because I already know. I know the joke here, but go ahead. You go ahead and throw it out there, because I like it too. I know where you're going with it, but three. I want 3. What's your 3 top? You know, to watch on Instagram.
Man, I'm going to give you more than 3. Enduro Adventure. Enduro Adventure. Seth's destroying it on big bikes. Trailbound. Those guys are amazing. Obviously, yeah. Wolf, you, DB50. Man, every one of the Wolf guys. Culver, Jake, Mike, all those guys. Mike Haberoth, that guy kills it on little bikes and big bikes. California Dual Sport. Man, there's too many. Now I'm all flustered. Everybody. If you're on here and you're putting out content, it's good content. There's Beamer Bunny. There's Danger Nurse. There's Dean Royal. Dean Royal just rode from California to Florida in like 3 days on an 1190, which I don't know how he did it. I did 1,000 miles on my 1190, and I didn't touch the thing for like 2 months.
What about Blake? Blake came out of Texas and rode, 6,000 miles total?
Yeah, on that 701.
Yeah.
Sorry, Blake. I didn't mean to forget. I'm forgetting everybody. You know, anybody that's part of this community that's taking the time to post some stuff and share what they're doing and willing to have conversations to allow. I mean, the stuff that Wolf's doing, stuff like this that you're doing, getting the information out there and getting people tied together. To do rides together and to share their trails and to share their experiences. I never would have come down and done Big Bear if it wasn't for you and the guys from Enduro Life, you know, Brandon and Jer and Jaime. I mean, you guys babysit me for an entire day on that trail, riding some of the best riding that I've ever seen in my life. So it's all.
Well, I just want to put in perspective how great this community is of dual sport dirt bike riders, right? Is that me and you hooked up as easy as you said, hey, what was the message you sent me? You said, hey, I want to come down to Big Bear. Will you take me down there? And I said, yeah, just tell me when. And I was available, you were available, and we made it happen. Like, it was just on a whim. And ever since then, man, we've been great. And we try to hook up as much as we can. And you know, and again, you're 8 hours away from me. And it's great, man. It's great to have this community like this and, you know, meet great people like you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Just the experiences that are afforded us just because of being able to communicate and the community. The community is always willing to give. Like,
Yeah.
they're willing to share trails. Back in the day, it was, don't tell anybody about this trail. This is our secret stash, and
We
it's
still
not
have
like that
that
anymore.
No, it's a lot. I mean, we still have it, but it's not as bad,
Yeah.
especially with social media, which is fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater on the guys that don't want to give out stuff. I mean, if that's you, that's you. That's cool. That's totally good. If you communicate with me, I don't put out stuff. If you tell me not to, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. But at the same time, I do respect that I want to try to include more people into this sport, to the stuff that is open,
Yeah. Hey, we forgot to mention Corva. None of this would be possible without guys like Corva.
Yeah, no, those guys rock. Especially the dude that takes care of their Instagram page. He rocks. So I've got, I had another guy pop up here. What's upcoming for? You got that one. Saw another question here. Bear with me here. Someone else. I want to try to help out some of these questions also. Blake, yep. Oh, okay, so here's the question that I saw. I've got a guy asking if we ever ride Mammoth Lakes, and no, I have not. I don't believe you have either, right?
No, I think we were talking about doing those trails this year, if I was able to make it down.
Right. And so, yeah. And I see a lot of guys like posting up stuff about Mammoth, and honestly, it looks really, really beautiful. I definitely want to go and hit that area. So if anyone's from that area, let me know. I'd definitely like to hear about it and find out if maybe I can get in on a ride up in that area.
I think Chris Bobs knows that place pretty well.
Yeah, I think he's talked about it some, and then there's a couple other people that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Is Chris going with you for this ride?
No, we're splitting the crew up of all the regular riders, and half these guys are going to Vegas. I don't know what's in Vegas. I mean, Vegas sucks, but I don't know why you would want to go there. No, I'm just joking. They're going to the industry show. They're going to go and do a ride out there and go to the industry show. And then they're going to go to, I think, the Monster Cup as well. I'd love to go, but to be honest with you, it just comes down to I love this Bishop ride too as well. And I figured, hey, let's take half the people to Bishop that are wanting to ride this coming weekend on the 12th through the 14th. Someone asked, when's this ride? It's October 12th through the 15th, or 12th through the 14th, sorry. There's guys going out that direction, and there's a bunch of other dudes that are going to Bishop. So whoever's going to Bishop, hit me up. Let me know you're going out there. We've got kind of a smaller crew that's riding together, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to connect with you and just say hi, shake hands, and meet you if we run into each other on the trails or whatever. But there's room for we can figure something out, but definitely we can't get too big out on the trail. I mean, I don't want to have 20 guys riding together and stuff. It makes it difficult. So yeah. Anyone else that you want to?
Man, Rich must be in an area that he keeps on dropping this live feed. I don't know if it takes it out with me with it or if he just drops out of it, but obviously it's hitting me too. I see him jumping back in right now. Look at that. People are already jumping back in. I love it. I thank you guys so much. That gives me confidence that this stuff is actually worth taking the time and doing.
Someone had asked if we were live on Facebook. Rich doesn't have a Facebook, so we just left this one for Instagram this time. Dude, we lost you again. Plug her back in, buddy.
There you are.
All right.
It keeps telling me.
It's okay. Hey, man, you know what? I love the fact that you went. I said, hey, I want your bike involved in this live stream, and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out to a spot, and I'm going to go ride and then talk to you. So, hey, man, thumbs up on that. That was all you on your side. But
that's awesome.
But real quick, I guess I was trying to round it up because, I mean, we're just about at an hour right now, and the thing's kicked us off like 3 or 4 times. But anyways, we talked about what profiles you like to follow and stuff on Instagram. Give me some shout outs to some of the brands and people that have helped you out over the time with this bike and your other bike and stuff like that. I want you to go ahead and give some love out to these guys.
Wolf Enduro for sure. Answer, they've got me set up head to toe, helmets, riding gear. Couldn't ask for better gear. As far as the bike, M7 Designs killed it on the graphics.
Yeah.
Rob at why can I not think of Rob? Who did my suspension? Moto Lab. Sorry, Rob.
Moto Lab.
Moto Lab
That's
suspension,
right.
which I got from California Dual Sport Riders. So thank you to them as well. Man, flex bars. I've had these things on here now for 3 pretty bad offs, and I haven't broke them yet. I feel like that's a testament to the build quality.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on and on. Just thank you to everybody that's been supportive, especially you, man. Like taking me out on rides and helping get
good,
footage. For the most part, I'm a solo rider, so getting good footage is tough. And with guys like you and Luke and the rest of the Wolf crew out there babysitting me on the trail and taking pictures and getting the right shot to make me look cooler than I am.
No, man, you're a cool guy, man. So help out if a guy has an 1190 like yours and he's just drooling all over it and he's like, man, I want to build 1190. Okay, I keep on telling you 3. Okay, let's give me 5. Give me 5 essential pieces to that bike that you think that someone should start off with if they're building an 1190.
If you're going to take it in the rough stuff, you got to do the rims, you got to do the suspension, you got to do the skid plate, and a good set of crash cages. Handlebars are a preference if you feel like you need them. I got monkey arms, so I got to have taller handlebars. Steg pegs have made a world of difference. I like the high fender kit, just less damage to plastic.
Right.
And also upgrade the lights. Cyclops lights, no pun intended. It was night and day between the stock stuff and this. Like I'll be riding home in the dark down some single track tonight, and it's not even going to faze me.
Right. Well, cool, man. Well, I mean, if there's anything else that you want to add to this, if you guys have more questions about his 1190, I'm not an avid, guru on any of the 1190 stuff. I've never even rode one. They're cool as hell. Rich has got a badass bike, and his is built up real nice. If you guys got questions, hit him up on Instagram. Again, Heavy Enduro page, or you can hit him up on Kilometer 9 and ask him whatever questions. I mean, he's a cool dude, as you guys can hear. He's definitely not afraid to talk with anyone. So hit him up if you guys have any questions. But man, is there anything else that you wanted to just put out there in the open with everyone here viewing this?
No, man, I'm just stoked that we got as many viewers as we did, and everybody stuck with us through the issues. I love what you're doing with this thing, man. This is gonna be awesome. I hope I can make it on here again.
No, we'll definitely have you on here again.
Do one trailside together.
No, definitely, man, definitely.
So this is good stuff. This community's just getting better and better every day. So
cool.
Stoked, man. I'm stoked.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and doing this with me. Again, for the people that have been watching, what we talked about today was Bishop Dual Sport Ride. It was a 2017 ride that we went on last year, but the reason why we talked about it is because the 2018 Bishop ride is coming up on October 12th through the 14th. Their online registration is still open, I believe, or you can sign up at the actual registration table at the event. It's in Bishop, California. It's an awesome ride. If you like to get out there and, load on some miles, or if you just want to go and take, a little bit of a trip and then come back to town, there's multiple different routes that you can take. So it's an awesome ride. They have a dinner on Saturday night, and they have like a social, small dinner, if you want to say. I think it's a chili bowl, social deal on Friday night, which is cool too. So as well, it's a great event. You guys should check it out. If you type in Bishop Dual Sport Ride into Google, it'll take you to, it's put on by Tri-County. Let me look real quick here. Ventura County Motorcycle Club. You can look those up on Facebook, or you can look it up on Google and check out their event calendar that labels everything that's going on for the ride, and or sign up on the registration online as well. But again, I love doing these things. This is the third one that I've put out so far. I'm going to try to continue them. I've got a long list of people that I want to interview and talk to that I've already set up. But then also too, I'm open to others If you guys want some product reviews, if you want me to review my bike and show you guys what's done to my bike, or maybe it's one of your guys' bikes, you know, I'm open to whatever, but I like doing this stuff and connecting with you guys. So hit me up on DM, and we can talk about it. Or if you're watching this on the replay, that's the other thing too, is that it's not just live on Instagram. It's live on Instagram. We're also doing the replay on Facebook and sometimes live on Facebook, and we're also doing the replay on YouTube as well. So if you don't catch it on Instagram, you can also check Facebook and or YouTube. But any suggestions, any recommendations? My YouTube channel is Nick V Media. Nick V Media on YouTube.
Cool.
So, yeah. No, I appreciate your time, man. I really do. Thanks for going out there to the outskirts of town and doing this with me.
Yeah, but, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Any excuse to ride.
Sweet. Okay, guys.
It was awesome.
Well, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.